Here's the real reason most guys never approach. It's not that they don't know what to say. It's not that they're not attractive enough or confident enough. It's that in the 3 seconds between seeing her and deciding to walk over, their brain runs a full simulation of everything that could go wrong. And that simulation is so fast and so vivid that it feels like reality before anything has even happened. So they don't move, and they spend the next hour, sometimes the next week, thinking about what they should have done. Here's the truth, bro. Approaching a woman is not the high-stakes, life-altering event your brain has convinced you it is. It's a conversation between two human beings. That's it. And once you understand the actual psychology behind what makes an approach work, it stops being terrifying and starts being something you can actually do. Let's get into it. The 3-second rule: why hesitation is the real enemy. There's a well-documented psychological phenomenon that happens the moment you notice someone you want to approach. Your brain immediately begins generating reasons not to. She looks busy. The timing isn't right. You need a better opener. You'll do it in a minute. And every second you wait, that internal resistance compounds. What felt slightly scary at second 1 feels overwhelming by second 30. Not because anything external changed, but because your brain has had more time to build the case against moving. This is why the 3-second rule exists. Not as a pickup artist trick, but as a genuine psychological tool. The idea is simple. The moment you decide to approach, you move within 3 seconds. Before the resistance has time to build, before the simulation has time to run. It's not about being impulsive. It's about understanding that waiting never makes approaching easier. It only makes the fear bigger. The approach itself is almost always less significant than the buildup in your head. The conversation that follows is almost always more natural than you expected. And the outcome, whatever it is almost always easier to handle than your brain predicted. Move before your brain talks you out of it. Every single time. What to actually say and why it barely matters. Most guys spend enormous mental energy on openers. The perfect line, the right thing to say, the approach that sounds confident and interesting and not like every other guy. Here's something that will immediately take the pressure off. What you say in the first 5 seconds matters far less than how you say it. Research on first impressions consistently shows that tone, body language, and energy account for the overwhelming majority of how someone receives you. The actual words are almost secondary. This means a simple, genuine observation delivered with calm confidence will outperform the most clever, scripted line delivered with nervous energy every single time. Simple, genuine openers that work. I had to come say hi, I'm name, or referencing something real about the environment. This place has terrible music, and somehow I'm still having a good time. Or a direct, honest compliment. You have a great energy. I wanted to introduce myself before I talk myself out of it. That last one works specifically because it's honest about the hesitation most guys feel, but would never admit. And honesty, real human honesty, is disarming in a way that scripted confidence never is. Say something real. Say it calmly. Say it like you're not auditioning for anything. The energy you bring matters more than anything you say. This builds on the last section, but deserves its own space because it's the thing most guys fundamentally misunderstand about approaching. When you walk towards someone, the approach has already begun. Before you've said a word, she has already received information about you through your pace, your posture, your expression, the way your eyes are moving. A man who approaches with slightly rushed energy, eyes scanning for her reaction before he's even arrived, shoulders slightly tense, has already communicated anxiety before opening his mouth. And whatever he says first is going to land in the context of that energy. A man who approaches with a relaxed, unhurried pace, shoulders back, expression calm and slightly amused, has already communicated something completely different. His words land in a completely different context. So before you think about what to say, think about how you're walking over. Slow down by about 20%. Relax your shoulders consciously. Let your expression be natural rather than rehearsed. The approach starts the moment you decide to move. Make sure the energy you're broadcasting from that first step is the energy you actually want her to receive. How to handle the first 30 seconds. The opener got you in. Now what? Most guys either talk too much, filling every silence with nervous energy, or they run out of things to say and let the conversation die within a minute. Here's the framework that works. The first 30 seconds have one job: create enough warmth and genuine interest that she wants the conversation to continue. You do that through 3 things. A genuine statement that shows you are actually present enough to notice something real about her or the situation. One question that invites her to share something rather than just answer. And enough comfortable silence between exchanges that the conversation breathes naturally rather than feeling like an interview. The biggest mistake in those first 30 seconds is trying to be interesting. The goal isn't to be interesting. The goal is to be interested. There is a massive difference. When you're trying to be interesting, you're performing. You're self-monitoring. You're half present because half of your attention is on how you're coming across. When you're genuinely interested, when you're actually curious about who this person is, that curiosity creates a natural conversational energy that no performance can replicate. Ask one real question. Listen to the actual answer. Respond to what she said rather than what you plan to say next. That's it. That's the whole framework. What to do when it doesn't go perfectly. Here's the thing nobody tells you about approaching. Not every approach goes well, not even for the most naturally confident men. Sometimes the timing is wrong. Sometimes she's genuinely not interested. Sometimes the conversation just doesn't flow the way you hoped. And how you handle those moments determines whether approaching becomes a skill you develop or a fear you reinforce. The instinct when an approach goes poorly is to analyze it obsessively, to replay every moment and identify exactly what went wrong, to use it as evidence for the belief that made you hesitate in the first place. Resist that instinct completely. A bad approach is not data about your worth, is not proof that you shouldn't have tried, it's just one conversation that didn't land, which is something that happens to every person who ever spoke to another human being. The only question worth asking after a difficult approach is, did I show up with genuine presence and good intentions? If yes, there's nothing to analyze. Some conversations don't connect. That has nothing to do with you specifically and everything to do with the infinite variables that determine whether two people click in any given moment. Walk away clean. Keep moving. Try again. That's the entire post-approach protocol. Here's the honest truth, bro. The art of approaching a woman is not about having the perfect line or the perfect timing or the perfect level of confidence. It's about deciding repeatedly, consistently, that the discomfort of trying is more acceptable than the regret of not trying. Every man who is genuinely good at this was once terrible at it. The only difference between where they started and where they ended up is that they kept moving despite the fear. They treated each approach as practice rather than as a test. And over time, the fear that once felt paralyzing became background noise they barely noticed. That's available to you. Starting with the next opportunity you get. Move in 3 seconds. Say something real. Be interested rather than interesting. Stay in your energy regardless of the outcome. That's it. That's the whole art. And if you want to understand what actually makes a woman genuinely attracted to you before you even open your mouth, go back and watch our video on the 7 habits that make her notice you immediately. Everything we covered there feeds directly into what makes an approach land. It's already on the channel. Go check it out right now.